Okay, imagine this. Just chaos erupts, right? A character, maybe thought was gone is seemingly just wiped out.
Hmm.
And then suddenly your own home is like taken over. It's turning into a full-blown military base.
Yeah, that's pretty much the opening scene of this wild narrative we're going to get into today. It just throws you right in.
It really does. And this comes from a specific YouTube transcript detailing this action-packed story within GTA 5. It's all about Franklin getting pulled into this special forces unit.
Exactly. And our job here in this deep dive is to stick only to what this transcript tells us, right?
Right. Just the source material. We're going to follow Franklin's like unbelievable path through these missions.
Unpack the sequence of events, which gets pretty bizarre.
Definitely. And try to piece together the plot based purely on this specific telling. It's a deep dive into this version of the story.
And like you said, it kicks off with a bang.
Yeah.
Literally. Michael's house is attacked, maybe explodes.
hmm
The source suggests he and his family are just gone.
It's a huge shock right at the start, and the story pivots immediately.
Because then, bam, Franklin's house is the new hub. It's commandeered by this special forces group.
And they don't hang about, do they?
No, not at all. The transcript says they start building immediately, converting his, comfortable Vinewood Hills house into something totally different.
Yeah, like a heavily defended base.
Which leads right into Franklin getting more involved than just, losing his couch.
He agrees to let them use the place, yeah.
He does. And almost instantly, they put him to work. His first mission is basically his way in, his initiation.
And this first job sounds like classic action movie stuff. Recovering stolen military gear from a convoy.
Hmm. The transcript talks about him chasing vehicles, shooting out tires,
hmm
the kind of high-octane stuff you'd picture.
But then it gets a little, well, very GTA, maybe. Shows the tone of the specific narrative.
Totally. The last vehicle heads for the desert airport, right?
Yeah.
Planning to load the gear onto a huge plane.
And the plan isn't just stopping it on the runway. This is where it gets unique to this source. It says they fly into the plane, midair.
Yes. The transcript actually says the plane stops vertically in the air so he can fly in.
Okay, wait, vertically.
That's what it says. And then the kicker, he jumps out of the plane with the vehicle.
Jumped out with the vehicle. That's okay. Completely over the top. Physics doesn't really apply here, I guess.
Not in this telling, no. But hey, mission accomplished, right? According to this, they get the resources back.
So he gets back to his place, presumably quite shaken after flying into a vertical plane and jumping out with a truck.
Huh. Probably. And the transformation of his house is well underway. You see significant construction. It's really becoming the base now.
They're serious. The source mentions building a helipad. That's, a pretty big deal, making it a proper HQ.
And the leader acknowledges Franklin's success on that slightly insane first mission.
And with that, he's officially in, gets the uniform, which the source just calls the clothes.
So he's part of the unit now. And the missions, well, they keep coming. And they keep escalating. Next up is defending a train.
A train carrying vital equipment, so it's a big target.
Right. And the threats aren't just like guys shooting at it. There are physical obstacles put on the tracks.
Rocks and logs. Seriously.
Yeah. And what's wild is the train in this story just powers right through them, apparently drags the debris along.
Okay. So an unstoppable train. Meanwhile, Franklin's doing what?
He's on top of the train fighting off attackers. The source mentions enemies on motorbikes, helicopters. It's a whole assault.
Sounds chaotic. But despite all that, they succeed.
Yep. Train delivered to the waiting military. Mission complete. Things are running smoothly for the team so far, despite the chaos.
Okay, so let's get into the next batch of missions, because this seems to be where things shift a bit, right? It's less about standard military jobs and more about figuring out a plot.
Exactly. The transcript mentions a special mission. Franklin's told to wear casual clothes, not the uniform.
Okay, and the target.
A bank, which is currently being robbed.
So he's going in.
Just walks in, poses as a customer in line. The robbers are there, threatening the owner. Source says 4 robbers.
And his weapon of choice for this special forces stuff.
Initially, just a stick or a pipe, according to the source. He uses stealth, sneaks up behind one guy.
Takes him down quietly. Okay, unexpected.
And here's a classic action trope moment. The source says he uses a ventilation duct to get into the vault area directly.
Ah, the old air vent trick. So he gets to the vault.
Where the other robbers are grabbing cash and gold, he takes them out, secures the place.
Right. And the source makes sure to mention the civilians are okay.
Yeah, totally safe thanks to special forces. Another win.
So after the bank job, what's next? Because the gear seems to be getting an upgrade.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Next mission involves a flying suit.
A flying suit, like
Yeah.
Iron Man style.
It pretty much sounds like it. And the target is another airplane, this one carrying important data on a computer.
Let me guess, the infiltration involves stopping the plane midair again.
You got it. According to the transcript, he waits for it to get close, flies up to meet it, and yeah, the plane stops vertically again so he can get in.
This narrative really likes its vertically stopping planes.
It certainly does. So he gets inside, fights enemies, finds the computer described as a notebook on the upper floor, and downloads the data.
And the escape.
Just as dramatic. Jumps out midair, uses the flying suit again. Data secured.
Okay, so now they have this data. What does it actually tell them? Does it connect back to Michael's house, the start of all this?
Well, according to the transcript, Franklin uses the laptop he recovered, and the info points to a location on the map, described simply as an enemy base.
An enemy base. Okay, so this is the lead they need to figure out who's behind things, potentially.
Seems like it. Following the map leads Franklin to this base. The source calls it a criminal gang. He watches them, sees their leader.
And the plan is storm the place.
Surprisingly, no. The decision is made to try and infiltrate by joining the gang.
Joining them. How does he manage that?
He gets challenged to a group fight. The transcript makes it sound pretty brutal, mentions pipes, knives, bats being used.
Yikes. But Franklin wins.
He does. Wins the fight, gets allowed into the group.
So now he's on the inside. What kind of gang is this? Are they the ones who blew up Michael's house?
Well, the source says they seem to be arms traffickers. But interestingly, based on what Franklin sees initially, they don't look directly connected to the house explosion. That original mystery is still kind of hanging there.
Okay. So Franklin's undercover. What's his next move?
He uses his disguise to sneak into the leader's room. Time for a confrontation.
And the leader of this random arms trafficking gang turns out to be, don't tell me.
Yep. According to the transcript, it's Trevor.
Trevor! Of course it is. Wow. Okay, so is he behind the explosion?
Doesn't seem like it, according to the source. Trevor seems unaware or uninvolved in that specific event. But he does have critical information.
What does he know?
He reveals there's another enemy base, a completely different group. And their plan is way bigger. They're planning to blow up the entire city.
Okay, wow. So the stakes just went from 0 to Armageddon, basically.
Pretty much. This new threat obviously takes priority.
So Trevor gives them the location of this other base.
Yeah, leads them to this bunker location.
Getting in isn't exactly subtle, I'm guessing.
Nope. The source says they blow the bunker door open, they head down a tunnel, and it's just packed with enemies inside.
They fight their way through and find what?
They find a map, and this map shows locations all across the city.
Locations for what? Targets?
Worse. According to the transcript, these are places where explosives have already been planted.
Oh, man. Okay, so now it's a race against time.
Exactly. An urgent mission kicks off.
Yeah.
Deactivate 4 bombs planted around the city, and they need to be fast.
How do they do it?
Source describes using some kind of machine to deactivate them. They hit different spots, a fountain downtown, one on top of a construction site.
How do they get up there?
Helicopter ride, according to the transcript.
Okay. Any problems?
Yeah, the last one, underground somewhere. The source says the machine doesn't work on it.
So what then?
Franklin has to do a manual hack. Like at many game, the transcript mentions avoiding red areas. Sounds pretty tense.
But he manages it.
He does. Gets the last bomb deactivated. City saved. From that threat, anyway.
Just when you think things might calm down.
Never happens in this story, does it?
Right.
The transcript says Franklin gets a message from the boss. Presumably his special forces boss.
Asking him to meet up.
Yeah, unarmed, at some office buildings.
That sounds suspicious.
It is. He gets there, senses something's wrong immediately, finds armed enemies, and discovers his own allies have been captured.
Ah, it was a trap. Of course.
Classic trap. But Franklin avoids getting caught himself. He hides.
Okay, so his team is captured. What does he do?
He tracks the enemies, follows them as they transport the captured allies to a hangar.
Back up on the way.
She decides not to wait, goes in alone, infiltrates the hangar quietly.
Finds his team.
Yep. Reaches them, opens their cell, gives them weapons, and then the shooting starts.
Big firefight ensues.
Big time. Franklin covers them when they get into a truck to escape. The source notes they were expecting backup, but it didn't show up right away.
But they make it out.
They do. Successfully escape, rescue the captured allies.
Yeah.
Another crisis averted.
Okay, this narrative is just relentless. What's next? Street racers.
You read that part too.
Oh.
Yeah, takes another weird turn. Illegal street racers with, get this, specialized cars.
Like what? Faster engines.
Try invisible cars. And cars with spikes.
Invisible. Spiked. Street racing cars. Okay. Sure, why not?
Right. And naturally, the source says Franklin uses a special forces vehicle that is also inflatable and also has spikes to challenge them.
Of course he does, so he races them.
Wins the race, then uses the spikes at the finish line to disable one of their cars.
And they catch the racer. Now, does this random street racer incident actually connect to anything?
Surprisingly, yes. They interrogate the captured racer about the original incident, the house explosion.
Does he know something?
He does. He gives them a clue. Points them towards someone involved living in a downtown apartment. Gives an address.
Finally, a lead back to the very beginning.
Exactly. This feels like the break they needed to solve the core mystery.
So they head downtown. What happens?
They get to the parking garage, linked to the address. The team is with them. They spot the target just as he's leaving.
They move in to arrest him.
They try. But the suspect uses a smoke grenade, escapes in a car.
Not going down easy. Chase sequence time.
Big chase sequence. Transcript describes pursuing him by helicopter. Franklin's on the gun. Chasing the car through the city streets.
Does he get away?
The suspect crashes the car. They move in on the wreckage.
Who is it?
And here it is. The massive twist, according to this source. The suspect they pull from the wreck, it's Michael.
Michael. But
Right.
he was supposed to be dead. From the house explosion at the start.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
guy they thought was killed in the event that kicked this whole thing off. It's completely shocking within this narrative.
Wow. Okay. So what happens then? Does Michael explain himself? Fight back?
He's not done yet. Throws something else, a flare or maybe a grenade, and escapes again. Through a window this time.
Unbelievable. The chase isn't over.
Not yet. Now it's on the ground. Franklin gets in a car, pursues him again.
Another crash.
Another crash. They finally corner Michael.
And this time.
This time, according to the transcript, Michael surrenders. It finally sinks in. The source makes it clear the disbelief is palpable. Michael was apparently behind everything.
The house explosion, faking his own death, everything.
It seems so, based on this specific telling. He orchestrated all this chaos.
So what's the final outcome in this version? Michael gets arrested.
Yep. Arrested and taken to the Special Forces prison, which the transcript implies is back at the rebuilt base at Franklin's house.
And the base is rebuilt and running by the end.
Fully rebuilt and operational. After all that.
Man, what a ride. Just recapping this base purely on the transcript, it's an insane journey.
Totally. Starts with that explosion, Franklin joining this unit, going through these absolutely wild missions, the train, the vertical planes, the bank, the flying
The
suit.
citywide bomb plot, the rescue mission, the invisible spike cars.
Right. All culminating in that unbelievable reveal that Michael, presumed dead, was the mastermind all along.
And we have to stress again, this is all drawn directly from the narrative presented in that specific YouTube transcript we looked at. It's one particular, very high-octane take on a GTA story.
Definitely its own beast. Which leaves you thinking, based just on this story, what does it say about Michael? To orchestrate something this massive, faking his death, destroying his home, what could possibly drive someone to do that in this version of events?
Yeah, what is the motivation here? The transcript doesn't really spell it out, does it? Just presents the shocking actions, leaves you wondering what could be going on in this Michael's head. Something to mull over, for sure.